right, thank you for the chance given to us. And today we are going to deliver to you about strategies to teach writing. But before that, let me introduce myself. My name is Niputu Aineloveni, and today I will present this material with my beautiful partner named Kade Budi Astrini. But before we're going further, here we have 7 materials to discuss today. The first is definitions, the second principle, the third is objectives, the fourth is strategies, the fifth is analysis of a video, the sixth is the result of research, and the seventh is conclusions. So the first 3 material will be delivered by my partner, and the rest of that will be delivered by me. So for the first challenge, I would like to give to my partner. So the time is yours.
All right, thank you, Nia. Here, my name is Budi Astrini. Here, I want to explain to you the first one, the definition of teaching strategies. Well, according to Brown Hardy 2000, the didactic approach in teaching and learning aims to combine or optimize the organizing of participants. According to IUA 2017, a technique which focuses on educational way in classroom action to fulfill the learning goals. Well, according to Kisner Saskia 2015, essential as it self-regulate consistently while learning in the classroom. Next, Nia. All right. And the second one, I want to explain to you the definition of writing skill. According to Cheung 2016, state that grammar is not the only thing that a student needs to be focusing on, but the aim is the writing itself. And then, according to Wright, 1986, as cited in Kasana 2015, writing is the way to express the ideas, information, experience, or knowledge to share the knowledge with others. According to 1992, as cited in Kasana 2015, state that writing is only acts as the language representative or symbol. And then, according to Cheung 2016, writing skill is the process of writing in the complex text. And then, the last, according to Tarjin 1994, as stated in Kasana 2015, the activity or representing language to explain the graphic symbols and make the understandable society is writing. Next, Nia. All right, thank you, Nia. And the third one, the material about principles in the teaching writing skills. Based on Krotovi 2016, the principles of writing skills, they are, the first one, the sentences should be coherent. And the second one, the important things must come first. And the third one, being simple but meaningful. And the fourth one, make your writing structure. And the fifth one, use the active voice. And the sixth one, avoid hyper and strong claims. And the seventh one, the last, recheck the grammar. Next, Nia. So everyone, here I want to explain to you the objective of writing skills. Well, first one, encourage the student to focus, reinforcing language which have been taught, being the integral part of bigger activity, including language practice, acting out or speaking. And the last one, to flip question type or activities. Well, that's all from me. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Budi. All right, now we're going to deliver to you. I'm going to explain to you about the strategies when you want to apply these strategies when you want to be a teacher and you want to enhance your students' writing skills. The first strategies is mind maps. So I think everybody knows what is mind map itself because like we always use it since our kindergarten elementary school, junior high school, or even until now when were in undergraduate. So mind maps is a strategy for taking notes of topics before writing. Like the pictures, the sides, mind mapping contains of many branches. Like what's on our minds, and we can just write it in different colors so we know which part of that. So there is a big branches, and there are also the details which made in the very small branches. So it can make our writings more complex then. But before we want to apply these mind maps in our classes, so we need to know what is the procedure of the mind maps itself. First, as a teacher, you need to divide the group so they will like not in a big discussion in the classroom, but they can focus with their group so they can focus also with the topic itself. Next, we need to do brainstorming for our students. So when they make a mind mapping, so they need to know the topic, like what they need to discuss. So make them discussing something with their friends, make some questions and give some questions for your students so they will brainstorming themselves. And next, we need to write mind ideas. They need to know what is the mind ideas before they continues to know the branches and the details of the mind map itself, because it needs process to know, to expand the mind idea itself. And then as a teacher and the students also need to add the vocabularies. So when they want to make a mind map, so they need to know a lot of vocabularies, because when they want to grow their trees of mind mapping, they need to have a lot of knowledge. So they need to know more vocabulary than others when they want to apply mind mappings, when they want to enhance their writing skills. So they need to read more vocabularies and they need to know more vocabularies. Maybe at the first time, as a teacher, you can give brainstorming in terms of vocabularies to enhance their vocabularies. It's just based on the teacher itself. And after that, you need to define the responsibility for your students, like what they need to do in the next step, and they need to know whether they understand or just stuck in the middle of the lessons. Next, as a teacher, we need to supervise our students. Like we need to observe our students whether they know what they do or whether they understand the material or whether they paying attention to us, whether they write something on their note. We just can be a supervisor for our students. So they will feel that we are paying attention to also to our students. And next, we need to know the leader from each group so that the leader will have a job as a interpersonal, efficient, conceptual, and the effectiveness of the working. So they will command their friends, they will manage, and they can control their friends to finish the task, to finish the mind maps itself. After that, they need to recheck their mind maps, whether they go straight to the points or they give the details in the right branches or others. And next, after they recheck, we can give the other example of mind mapping. So because there's a lot of types like fishbone or trees or stars and others mind maps. So they can create anything they like the shape is up to the students itself, so they can being creative, and it's also grows their critical thinking. And after that, they can divide their responsibility and they can work with their group again to discuss whether their work is already matched with the teacher example or not, and make sure that they not do it alone, so they will not feel that they're different from the group, because they'll work together and they'll find it how lovely to discuss something with their friends. All right, everything has their strength and weakness, and so do mind maps. First, strength is logic and imaginations. So here, when we make a mind maps, of course, we need to imagine something when we will make the art of that, like maybe fishborn, maybe stars, or maybe like another else, but it needs to be logic, because maybe you can add many details on your writing, but if it's not logic and it's not matched to your topic, it will be useless. And next, it will help us to have a structured ideas, because since the very general way, very general thing, and going to the less general and going to the specific one. And of course, it will help the students to be systematic when they write something. So using from the general thing until the specific thing is need a process, right? So this will help the students to being systematically. And next, it's will easy to classify. So here, like maybe the word order, or maybe we can use different shape or maybe different color on our mind maps. So it will act as a reminder for us to know which one is the part of the important one. I mean, the first, the second, until the last details of our writing. But mind maps also has their weaknesses. The first one is hard. Why it is hard? Because sometimes students with less creativity or less, like they thought that they cannot do something with art. But mind maps, like we can see, it's like similar to art, like the handwriting or maybe the color, but maybe the students find it difficult to matching color, but they find it really contrast or anything else. So they also will think that it is hard. And after that, it costs time and energy. Of course, when we want to make a good mind maps and complex mind maps, it is time. It will also cost your energy, because you think of anything, broad things, it will like very, very complex thing from the very general thing until the specific ones. It will cost time and energy. And because of that, sometimes a student feel it bored because they need to think the specific thing. Meanwhile, they didn't really like to read, so they didn't know much information, so that maybe their mind maps maybe will not be really complete. All right, the second strategy is TAD, which stands for Transitions, Actions, and Details. Well, this strategy is quite different with mind map, because it's used by a learner to organize writing in the pre-writing phase by applying charts, by placing their ideas in columns systematically. So like the picture here, so they write their ideas not in the very much branch, but they just write in straight in the columns like tables. So they write start from the actions and details, and it's ended with putting the transitions. So like here, they write a paragraph in a table. So I would like to read to you. So the first actions is a huge snake got in my aunt's living room. But when we add transition, we know when is the huge snake got in the aunt's living room and what happened next and next. Okay. Next is the procedure of TAD. All right. All strategy need to think of the ideas first, so do the TAD itself. So the students and the teacher, if you want to apply TAD, they need to thinking of the idea itself. And continue by write the actions and write what do you think that will be happen the next in the actions, and that you need to add the supporting ideas, supporting details, supporting statements, so the action will be supported by the detail itself. After that, you can add the transitions to make sure each sentence has been connected to each other. And after that, both students and also the teacher need to recheck and monitor everything. Is everything clear, coherent, and support each other? Now we're going to explain about the strength and the weakness of TAD. The first, as I said before, it will make your mind, your writing will become systematically. systematically organized, because it's trained us on how to think from the actions, like what really will happen in the text itself, what will happen, what you want to say to your reader on your writing itself. And after that, it improves the ability to think structure. Like we have trained on how to think from the first actions until the end of the story or text or our essay itself. So it improves our ability on writing. And next, it's also make our writing coherent. Why? Because it consistent since the first time and connected its sentences into one paragraph and into one text. So into the next strand, it can make students know how to apply the complex grammar, because the actions followed by the details itself will become the complex sentences, because it's like supporting the action itself, and how you can make your the manner of the sentence itself. But this TID also has their weakness. First is repetitive words. Why repetitive? Because it sometimes happens in the transitions, because sometimes because this transition is like written in the last time, the last after the actions and also the detail itself. So sometimes students maybe didn't know much about transitions. They didn't know like a lot of vocabulary. So you'll find the repetition there. Like maybe a students only know next. They will like using next for 2 until 3 times, and it's called repetitions. Next, those things will make the students feel their lack of ability, because when they check it, or maybe someone proofread their writing itself, they'll find that you use repetitive words, your complex sentences is not good, so they will find the lack of ability, they can do it, and that is the weakness of TAD. And next, it can make the students less active. It's for me, it's because of when the teacher applying this TAD, it means that the teacher maybe like told the students to speak, or ask the students to write themselves by themselves, so they just find the action, the details, the connections by themselves, so they will less active in the classroom, because they just thought that they need to do it by themselves without thinking of others. But if the students combine it, like they need to discuss together, they need to proofread each other, they need to correct each other, so they will find that discussing is very lovely. All right, we're going to talk about the last strategies here. So the strategy is quite unique because the name is please. So this is a strategy in which to enhance, of course, the writing skills, and it's designed to facilitate problem solving, which means it guides the writing assignment independently, as it provides opportunities for students to edit and revise their own work. So it's really like similar to self-assessment, because since it's please stand for some sentence, like P stands for pick your topic, L stands for list your ideas about the topic, E stands for evaluate your list, A stands for activate the paragraph with topic sentence, S stands for supply supporting sentences, and the last E stands for end with concluding sentence. All right. Please also has its procedure. First, choose the topic, and then growth the ideas. And after that, the students or teacher also need to evaluate the ideas, whether the ideas is already connected to the topic or not. And then they need to give the supporting sentences to make it more elaborating. And they also need to end their paragraph or text with a concluding sentence. I also found some strength and weakness in place strategy. First, ideas. It can create their own ideas because they don't need to feel that their ideas is bad or nonsense, but Here they can have totally free time to think of their ideas. And of course, the freedom of art. They can thought that they can create their own style of writing. Sorry, whether they can make their title first or they can write the text first. After that, they can write the title itself. And then it also can improve their learning style because they can find it on how they can learn by themselves, on how they observe others' learning style, on how they can know how they type of learning actually. And the last strength is they can also organize their time. They know on how they can being better, on which time they will be being productive, and so on. But the weaknesses of place is cost time and energy, of course, because they need to think more, think harder, and also boredom because they couldn't find any interactions between students and also the teacher because they just like work individually. All right, I've spoken a lot today, and right now we're going to watch a video and we will analyze it after this section. Happy watching!
I need to learn more about the Statue of Liberty. I need to learn more about the beauty in people. Mind mapping is a way for students to take an idea that is challenging for them and has many levels of understanding and slowly branch out in almost a spontaneous way to help them start to think about that idea, bring it back to what they already know, and then ask themselves questions that they need to find the answers to. So we took our mind map to another level. Okay, so our next words were freedom and expressing. Freedom and expressing. We started with the question of what is art, and we ended up with the question of the Statue of Liberty. How do we do that?
Everything has art in it, even though it's like not trying to. There's beauty in everything.
There is. Is the Statue of Liberty a sculpture?
Yes.
Well, look at that. You're creative, and you have to solve the problem of how to get that idea onto the canvas, into a sculpture, how to move that clay around to show the sketch that you've made. That's where the mind map comes in and helps you. It's your tool. A computer's a tool. A pencil's a tool. A mind map is the same kind of tool.
All right, after we watch the video itself, here is the video analysis. So the first one, in the opening, the teacher gives the aims of mind mapping, like what is mind mapping and how helpful is the mind maps for their study. And in the main activity, the teacher gives the general topic, and the students need to write the details of that, and they need to find the topics, which the first is the first branch, like what is the first thing that coming in their minds, so they need to write it and they can design it and they can stick it into the whiteboard. After that, in the closing activity, the teacher evaluate the words that stick in the board and ask where that each word comes from, like what the students thought, like maybe they put the statue, they would freedom, they would it's beautiful. That's what they thought about art in the video. So of course, when we applying a mind mapping in our class, so we will need to has an opening activities like explaining what is the mind mapping and the aims of the learning, and then we did the main activity, which is creating the mind maps, and we also need to evaluate our students' work. All right, so here is the result of strategy to teach reading skills research. So before I present it to you, we from group 11 have read our research entitled Mind Mapping Techniques to Enhance EFL Writing Skills. And the author is Sheda Saimer Verhen Bukhari in 2016. Well, the objectives of this research is to review the frequently used technique in teaching intermediate students, to examine this technique for the intermediate level, to identify the appropriate strategy to teach writing skill, and to recommend this technique for the learners. Here, the subject of the research is 40 intermediate learners and 20 English language teachers. And the object of the research is to use mind mapping technique, of course, in teaching. And the research designs using survey phase and experiment phase. And the technique of the data analysis is to analyze the pre-test and post-test analysis, including paragraph, the structure, length, content, and coherent. All right, so the procedure of the research is divided into 5. The first, there are 2 phases on this research, including survey and experiment phase. So the survey phase used placement tests and questionnaire. Meanwhile, the experiment used pre-test, treatment, and post-test. Of course, we know that pre-test given before the treatment and the post-test given after the treatment itself. After that, both pre-test and the post-test analyzed by using rating scale according to the curriculum itself. Of course, when analyzing the data, they use SPSS and also Excel to make it easier to analyze the data. After analyzing the data, the researcher needs to make a table to organize it and interpret the results of the research. All right, so we'll show you some findings of this research. So here is the placement test of the controlled sections and experimental sections. Well, this is also the data analysis of the writing skills, like the control, the pre-test, the post-test, and it's also the comparison between the pre-test and post-test in control sections. And the experimental sections, pre-test analysis. And also another, the average grades. And after that, they also do the comparison of the pre-test control and experiment sections and the post-test, both control and experimental sections. Well, I find it the result of the research. There is a significant improvement in the learners who were placed in experimental group. And the students are able to elaborate, the students in experimental group, able to elaborate the detailed informations and link all of the informations. They also find it easier to find ideas because they have more experiments. They know how to find the ideas itself. And next, they also can make the coherent paragraph because they trained a lot. They know how to use the mind map itself and how it's really create their strength on writing itself. But in other sides, the control group found it difficult because they found there is no significant difference in the scores of their pre-test and the post-test in the control group, and also that the learners in control group had not gained the skills to the level of performance. So they don't know how to find ideas easily. They don't know how to write a coherent paragraph because they still train the traditional way on they need to find their main ideas and then they need to strategically write their paragraph without using the mind mapping. So the conclusions of the research is that it contains 2 phases, which is the experimental and also the control. So the experimental phase, when the learners had pre-test on writing in treatment phase. Meanwhile, the control is using the traditional way. Well, the treatment phase was followed by the post-test when the learners attempt a post-test of writing. The results were analyzed by give a clear picture of the learner's performance before and after the treatment phase. All right, the comparison of the pre-test and post-test result of both sections showed that there was a significant difference in the grades of the learners who were taught mind mapping techniques, which is from those learners, the controlled sections, who were taught writing through the applications of some usual techniques. All right, so we're arrived in the conclusions of our material for today. So everybody, from the explanation above, we conclude that the teaching can be interactive and interesting activity when the teacher were able to choose appropriate language based on the conditions and the characteristic of the students, and of course on how the learning style of the student itself. When the teacher wants to emphasize the students' writing skills like mind mapping, TAD, and please, can be some choices for the teacher to use in the classroom. They also need to consent to the principles and why they need to improve their students' writing skills. For instance, an article entitled Mind Mapping Techniques to Enhance TEFL Writing Skills, this is a good example on how the use of mind mapping that improves students' writing skills. All right, that's all our presentation for today. Thank you for your attentions and for the attentions again. Thank you so much, and we do apologize if there is any mistakes, and thank you.